Washington, D.C. I'm Heather.
My name is Bud.
And we're from Old Town Trolley Tours of St. Augustine. We thought we'd take you on a trolley ride and show you beautiful St. Augustine, and maybe we'll learn something about both our cities.
We're so looking forward to sharing this time with you.
Washington, D.C. presidents had their own pet alligators. Here at Gator Bob's, we have our own.
Pennsylvania Avenue is an iconic street in Washington.
Here in St. Augustine, we have our own iconic street. This is Little Treasury Street. This is known to be the smallest street in the United States. It was put this way for a reason. It was just wide enough for two sailors to get their treasure chest down to the treasury. It was also small enough that you could not get a horse and buggy down this street to rob the treasury.
In Washington, D.C., the most visited museum is the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. But we have a lot of awesome museums here in St. Augustine as well. This is one of my favorites, the Lightner Museum. Originally built as Henry Flagler's second grand hotel in town, the Hotel Alcazar had the world's largest indoor swimming pool at the time of its construction. But now it's the Lightner Museum and houses Otto Lightner's collection of collections.
In Washington, D.C., you have the Arlington Memorial Bridge, and at the entrance to that bridge, you have two bronze statues of horses. You have Sacrifice and Valor. Here in St. Augustine, we have the Bridge of Lions, built here in 1927. And at the entrance to our bridge, we have two marble lions placed here in 1928. We have Firm and Faith.
In Washington, D.C., they have decades and generations of hauntings going back way into Washington, D.C.'s history. Now, we've had many battles here, just like you guys. In fact, we also have a couple presidents here. We just so happen, here in Cromwell's Parlor of Paranormal Curiosities, we've got Abraham Lincoln himself. Come here, get a good look at that. You see, these masks are death masks. They make these of dead people's faces. In fact, you may notice the nose holes of these faces. They go way up into the head. Well, that's because they ain't got to worry about plugging up the nose holes of a dead guy.
Washington, D.C. is full of national monuments, but we have a national monument too. This is the Castillo de San Marcos, the country's oldest and largest masonry fort. Built from coquina bricks, coquina is a naturally occurring sedimentary substance that is mostly fossilized shells. This fort was constructed by the Spaniards and completed in 1695, and it is part of the National Park Service.
And of course, in Washington, D.C., you have perhaps the most famous national cemetery, and one of your popular trolley stops would be Arlington National Cemetery. We have a similar story of service and sacrifice right here in St. Augustine. You see behind me the National Cemetery. And we have grave markers here that look familiar with those in Arlington from the Civil War, of course, but also older ones from those soldiers that reinterred from the Seminole Wars. You'll see the pyramid graves over here. That's a mass grave site for those that gave their lives here in Florida back in